we're just going to go right into it. I'm going to ambush you. One administrative note going into this. English being your second language, yeah?
Could be third.
Your third?
Yeah.
So, bro, I don't know if you noticed, but there's sometimes when we're talking and I'm like, what? And you'll say, I'm like, what?
Oh, no, I notice it.
And I'm like, man, I don't want to be a dick, but I can't understand what this motherfucker's saying. But we're brothers now, and I fucking love you. And I'm not so worried about hurting your feelings anymore. So during the show, if like, I'm just going to be straight up. If I don't understand it, I'm saying, bro, I'm fucking struggling right now.
No, Roger that. I mean, I understand. That's why I try so hard to enunciate. And then I think about what I'm going to say a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to make sure. That's why most of the times I'm always quiet or I sit back, you know, because I want to make sure that I need to be heard. And if I need to be heard, I have to register everything and it's going to process, right?
Yeah.
That way everybody understands, especially like coaching the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And bro, you fucking, I was telling Jenny about this after we went down to Utah and did the Fieldcraft event because you rolled down there with me. I said, Will sees everything. Literally everything. Like, I like to think of myself as someone with my head on a swivel, you know, not to the point where like, you know, some guys are like, I got to sit in the corner of the restaurant and like kind of take it too far. But no matter what we were doing or what the circumstances were, if it was like, hey, do you see that guy in that intersection, 2 intersections back? You're like, yeah, in the red truck, he was wearing a green hat. And I was like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, fuck, man. I thought I was an observant person. They teach you that shit in Saipan growing up?
Always. I mean, we grew up hard, you know,
Yeah.
we grew up poor, so resources are limited. So you got to make use of everything.
So you just got to be aware of your surroundings,
You're
huh?
not wasting shit. Yeah.
Man, that's like, I kind of joked about it, but that's actually probably the truth, huh? You grow up hard, you got to know what the fuck's going on around you.
Yep. You know, and I always used to think that I was poor, you know, but now when I think about it and I analyze everything, that was living simple.
Yeah.
There was nothing poor about that. We were living a simple life, you know.
Well, and it was probably, I mean, who knows what the right fucking balance is between simple and then the more money you get, the more problems you have, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we're also chasing fucking financial independence too, right? So what's the right answer? I don't fucking know. But you hear that a lot. Like, people enjoy a simple existence. And don't misconstrue a simple existence as like, oh, they're rednecks or they're dumb people or they're less than. It's just life was life, yeah?
Yep.
What was it like?
It was very simple, man, to the point, like, so me and my brother grew up with, you know, my mom. Our dad he was in and out. He was very present, and when he was very hard, you know. But the times that I remember when he was out. So it would be me, my mom, my brother, just growing up. I remember the smell. You know, I still remember to this day the smell of kerosene stove, little lanterns. You know, like dark. That's how we lived. We lived in the dark. Like no TV, no nothing. Rice was cooked in a pot with the black part on the bottom being my favorite part because it was like crispy. You know?
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. And we all showered together because we had to fill up a 50-gallon, those drums. Yeah. And we had to.
Like heat it up?
No, we didn't heat it up. It's cold, but it's not like cold plunge cold.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
And then we just showered.
So, bro, you see everyone talking about taking cold showers. You're like, motherfucker, please, dude.
Yeah. That's how we lived back home. Yeah. And we all have to shower together because, once again, limited resources, right? So my mom would shampoo her hair, and then she shampooed my hair, and then shampoo my brother's hair, like with the same soap that she put on her hand. You know, it's like, I used to think like, man, that was sad. That was poor. But now when I think about it, no, that's fucking making it happen. That's surviving, you know.
Well, bro, and how old were you through, like, when did you leave Saipan?
I came out here when I was 13.
And did your mom move out here?
No, I eventually brought her out here. But when I came out here, I lived with guardians.
How did that transpire? How does a 13-year-old leave his mom?
So, actuality, it was before then, I was with my mom, my brother, and then I was always my dad's boy. Like, I always wanted to be with him. So I actually ran away from my mom. And then I lived with my dad, and then my dad, I think by the time I moved to my dad, I was 11. And then that's when I met my stepmom. And then I came out here with her family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the only reason why I came out here is because we went to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And I played baseball.
You were a stud baseball player, huh? You can't say that. That's what they say. That's what other people say.
Yeah. And then that's why I wanted to move out here, to play ball out here. And that's eventually what got me out here.
And then when you moved out here, did you pursue that as well?
I did, but it was more hard times, man, because like the family that I was living with, we had a bunch of animals and stuff, and I had a lot of chores. So it was between working that the
farm,
farm where
yeah.
where I stayed, and then also like trying to play. And I think that's a good segue because I think that's how I got so fucking rebellious. It's because I wasn't getting what I wanted. So when I had the chance to do stupid shit, like I leaned into that because it was an opportunity for me to do something that I wanted.
Oh yeah.
Despite being like how mischievous it is or whatever it was, like smoking weed or doing dumb shit.
So as a teenager here, you were like most teenagers then,
Pretty
making
much.
bad choices, doing dumb shit.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting because you would think, I mean, your culture must look at the kids of today and the things that they perceive as problems and the thing that American kids are all fixated on and just think, you guys have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you came out here and then kind of got caught up in a lot of that similar shit, huh?
Yes, I did. And when I analyze it now, it's like I was glad that I was born where I was born and had the time there, endured all that little hardship that I had because it opened up my eyes when I came out here. Like I was 13, 14, but I was still looking at my classmates like, you guys are a bunch of faggots. They don't know how to start fires. They don't know how to do the shit that I did. You know, that's what got me going.
They don't know the rice at the bottom of the pans, the crispy black stuff.
Yeah, that's not the one you waste. You can make that like a pizza. Put some Spam on top of that shit. And,
What year did you move out here?
93.
Okay, so we're the same age then. Yeah, that's right. Like it changes. I know we're both 43 or whatever. Man, it's fucking nuts, dude. And because it's an American territory, Guam and Saipan, you don't have to go through any immigration, or how does that work?
No, we don't when we're coming in here. Or yes, we do. We still have to go through, not immigration. I was thought that's more customs, but
just
immigration,
customs.
no, yeah, because we have a passport and stuff.
So even though you're living in Saipan, you're technically an American citizen.
Yes,
and that was established after World War II.
Yeah,
and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but it's interesting how because of the Japanese, I mean they took over those islands during World War II, and American soldiers or Marines most likely pushed them out and basically reestablished your guys' freedom. You said that like your culture is extremely patriotic.
Yes.
And that's something that like you guys have prided yourselves in. And is that still very prevalent back home?
It's very prevalent, but also the same, like how times are turning here. We get some of those people down there too, the ones that want to go with the black square and Islam, like Hamas and all that stuff. Like there's still that stuff too.
Yeah.
And I know there's people my age that are trying to fight that, but at the same time, it's like when you have people in office that are reliant on the funds from here, like what are they pushing? Obviously, they're going to push the stuff that's going to get them into office, and then whatever people want to talk about, it's going to be on the top of the table.
So it's all the same.
It's all the same
corrupt
shit.
bullshit going on there too.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to have my own podcast, just to kind of highlight some of that stuff and let my people know that still want to fight for it. Like, hey, we're still here, bro. Like,
Well, and a big thing for me, and I know you're of a similar mindset, like when I started getting disenfranchised with America, I misconstrued that with disenfranchised with corruption within politics. Like our country and our people, and sure, there's plenty of people here that I don't think have a very good grasp on reality. And we could talk about it for the next 10 hours, just like you said, the black square and the trans rights or humans, right? And all the stuff that people are fixating on. But America as a country is still filled with great human beings, and it still has endless opportunity in comparison to a lot of places on planet Earth. Now, a lot of people are like, this is the best fucking country in the world. Well, for me to say that, I'd probably have to have experience living in other countries in the world and have comparison. But I know that we have a lot of opportunity, and it's good, right? Yeah. But there's also some fucking massive faults that need to be addressed and need to be changed. And like, but that shouldn't make me have any anger towards the country or my patriotism or what this place means to me. It just means we got some corrupt motherfuckers that need to be rooted out.
Big time.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting how like your nation kind of got pulled on board what is it, 75 years ago now or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
And at the time, it's like, fuck yeah, dude, America has our back. And they did. But now these same corrupt motherfuckers sound like are starting to fucking cause problems over there as well.
It's
And we need an international cleansing, dude.
yeah, an international cleansing and maybe a wood chipper down there too.
Yeah, bro. You see the Zen I have on the table today? I don't even like Zen anymore. But do you know why I brought it out?
What?
Did you see Chuck Schumer in Congress held one of these up and goes,
Oh yeah.
We've realized that Zen is targeting young people, and we're gonna start a campaign against them, right? And as soon as I saw that, I was like, why are guys in DC worried about how much fucking nicotine I put in my lip, right? And it was Jenny. She goes, "Oh, I guarantee you, he has some partnership with some other tobacco company,
Probably.
and Zen is probably killing sales with other tobacco companies. There's something going on behind the scenes." And then, sure as shit, I saw Political Tracker. Do you know what that is?
No.
So, Political Tracker, it watches the stock trading of everybody in Congress.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them dumped Zen like recently, and then started talking shit about him.
That's why.
And it's like, oh, so I don't know exactly who the competitor is that they're probably wanting to build up, you know?
Yeah.
But they dumps in, and now they're talking shit on him on the congressional floor. And it's like, dude, wood chipper time, you know?
Feet first.
Like, so, bro, I know a lot about you from the jiu-jitsu world, but we never just sit down and fucking talk about life, dude. When did you... So you said you went through a period of time where you were being a teenager, like we all were.
Yeah.
What was the path like from then until you found jiu-jitsu?
Damn. So
'Cause that's a long time, right?
Yeah.
Because you didn't start jiu-jitsu till what?
2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
Fucking sandbagging blue belt, motherfucker.
From what's that? Let's say from high school. I mean, first of all, growing up as an islander out here in Spanaway, you know, it's right next to Fort Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of my uncle that I lived with. He had a big house, and that's where all the parties were at. That's where all the islander people go to party. That we just moved out here. I've been living out here, so he built a club for everybody that was from Saipan and Guam. It was huge, and we had a big influence of people that were in the service. So we get the Rangers, we get all kinds of supply people that bring me like BDUs and stuff. And for an islander, you know, back in Saipan, that's the dress code. If you can get your hands on BDUs or anything, you know, those jungle hats.
Yeah.
Bro,
that's
those
big
things
shit, huh?
Oh, yeah. People fight for that.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah. They want to be that. So I had an influence. I had a lot of stuff. But they'd always talk like, hey, bro, you man, you're going to grow up and be a Ranger. And then you get like a Marine that's visiting from San Diego and say, hey, you're going to be a Marine, you know, like, so my whole life growing up, I was always going to be one of those two. Because even my dad was always telling me, you're either going to be a baseball player or you're going to be a Marine,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's like, because you have to go out there and we got to do our part in, you know, in thanking America. Like, that's how I grew up, you know. So, but coming out here and then living there, I thought that's really what I was going to be destined to be. But high school was rough. I had my oldest when I was a senior in high school. And that just kind of transcended me into like, you know, fuck, now you're a man now, like you're automatic man. Like you got to go find a job. So I was working and going to school. The family at that time had already moved back home. The house was up for sale. So technically I was squatting.
Uh-huh.
I was just trying to survive. So I would have stuff in the house.
18 years old with a fucking baby.
Yeah.
Man.
But they had her parents. So they were
Okay.
staying there. I was staying at the house that we were living in. My family had moved. So I was just squatting there and I worked at KFC. So yes, I ate fucking chicken a lot because I didn't have money to fucking go out and eat. Like the money was going to the baby and then I just get a bunch of leftovers and then I'd go cook, make different like stir-fried chicken, just debone the bitch and then recook it to the way I think it would taste good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was surviving and then moved up to Kent and just kind of treaded through life, man, trying to be something that I wanted to be. That's gonna be, you know, I always wanted to be either like a firefighter, a police officer, or like a fucking operator. And I don't know why, but I never did. I eventually made it to MEPS. I was gonna join the Marines, and something just told me like, don't fucking do this. So I just turned around and I walked away.
What year was that?
That was 99.
Okay. Yeah, same year that I went in.
Yeah, I was gonna be a fucking Marine. I was like, I'm gonna go and do this. And I don't know why, if I chicken out. To this day, I say I bitched out on it, but then having lived through the way I lived, like how hard I lived and where I'm at today, I've learned a lot of who I am and what I can provide back to people.
Yeah.
I always go back and think like if I went, I probably would have been dead.
Bro, good chance, right?
You know?
I also tell people this because not so much anymore. The war is now 20 years removed, but like 3, 4, 5 years removed from the war when it was still fresh in everyone's mind. I used to have people come to me and express regret all the time.
Yeah.
Like, man, I almost did, or I wanted to, or I should have. And it's like, dude, it doesn't matter if it's the war or it's any other thing that you coulda, shoulda, woulda. It doesn't mean anything. You're living in the past and it doesn't serve you at all. But also, like, at the time, the war was cool. At least I thought it was, right? And even our culture thought it was cool. Like when we came home from Afghanistan, we were fucking rock stars. We weren't fucking like the Vietnam guys, like getting spit on and shit. Like,
especially during that time, because that 9/11.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was cool to be a fucking Ranger when I was a Ranger. But now looking back on it, and again, I've talked about it on the show a lot. I don't regret it. I wouldn't change anything. But I also realized, man, I got caught up in something that wasn't really a necessary part of my life. Like it was a good thing that I did because it formed me into who I am. But I wouldn't recommend young men go get caught up in these government wars at this point in my life. I think you can pursue your dreams and your goals and your aspirations and grow into powerful men without that, And then also the byproduct of that is a lot of guys got fucked up and a lot of guys got killed. And I'm the first to say, man, I was talking to actually Andy Frisella about this last night. I think that if Congress declares war, that 5 members of Congress should be randomly selected, like one of those fucking barrels that you're turning with everybody's names in it. You draw 5 names out, and those 5 names have to deploy to the front lines.
Roger that.
Right? Yeah. Like, bro, if you're going to send me to war, imagine like your boy's in the military right now.
Yeah.
Imagine if I said, hey, this war is important enough to send your son. And I'm going to sign the dotted line to send your son, but I'm not willing to go myself. Now we have a problem, right? Yeah. We're out of alignment. And I told him, I said, when you become president, I want that legislation to get passed through because it's serious, man. They send all of our fucking sons and daughters to these conflicts worldwide. And for what?
Yeah.
And so the people that decided to step back and not engage in that, like you did, I don't consider that being a pussy at all, dude. Even if it was rooted in being a pussy at the time, hindsight is probably smart, Because like, and another thing that I tell people, sure, I had a lot of experience in law enforcement and in the military, but bro, I honestly think my best leadership capabilities that I've honed happen on the mats, dude.
That's the way.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And bro, you're right. You're going to be fucking teaching me leadership traits on the mats here.
So like you came here one direction, I think the reason why I took a turn and made an about face is because the direction that brought me here today was supposed to be that long, arduous path that I took.
Yeah.
That was meant for me. And I'm glad that I lived through it and I got to see it. I'm not going to change anything about it because everything that I feel good about and feel so happy and blessed with now is everything that I went through. And that was the path. So I was sent here, like I always tell you, like I was sent here.
You were fucking sent here.
But yeah,
so let me say this too, because I'm sure we're going to geek out on it for a long time. But for people that don't know, man, Wil just showed up one day and you've become like my right-hand man at the academy, man. And you put in more effort and more energy and more love and more blood, sweat, and tears to building up this team. I mean, you can ask my wife, dude. I tell her all the time when I'm getting fucking fed up with life, I'm like, I'm out of here and I'm signing the academy over to Wil. That's my go-to phrase when her and I are fucking arguing about dumb shit. But at the same time, it's like, it's your destiny to run something like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's in your DNA. You know how to talk to people. You know how to motivate people. You also like, you have the balance between being hard and being loving, probably better than anyone I know. And that's an important thing because it's easy to be a dick, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can be a dick. And then if you're too, and this is something I struggle with my whole fucking life, if you're too kind to people, it works the majority of the time.
Yeah.
But there's 10% of the time where people will walk all over you and take advantage of it.
They'll take your kindness for weakness.
Exactly right, dude. And so it's a very hard balance to try and be a loving person that's also hard. And I've learned a lot from you because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the formula that you use is just the truth.
Yeah.
I just say exactly how I feel.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, it might hurt your feelings, but as long as I'm telling you the truth,
Yeah.
like the saying goes, the truth sets you free.
The only thing that changes with the truth don't change. The only thing that changes is whether I tell you in front of everybody or I tell you by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that just depends on the magnitude of how is it going to affect the person.
Yeah.
Right. If it's going to help the person, if I say it in front of everybody because of their demeanor, and then I'm going to do that. But if it's something that needs them to be cornered and be spoken to like one-on-one, then that has to, if that's necessary, then that's going to be done that way.
And see, bro, that just shows a high amount of emotional intelligence because most people, a problem arises and they come up with the solution and that solution is just implemented. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's why you see it all the time. People getting called out in front of people. But for you to be like, hey, I'm not afraid of calling out in front of the team. I see you call people out in front of the team all the time, but it's a choice as opposed to just like an outburst.
Yeah. And then I also do it in a way to where the person that needed the message heard the message, and then also as well as the people that were witnessing, you know, and it wasn't like a slap in the face. It was like everybody's laughing, but we're all learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Well, and that's another thing that I've learned, something that is imperative for being a good coach, in my opinion, is always like half of it is the jiu-jitsu you teach, and the other half of it is the method in which you present yourself to the team. Because I don't want to say you're putting on a show because that makes it sound kind of cheesy, right?
Yeah.
But people are spending an hour and a half with you. And if you're not engaging and funny and charismatic or just making them enjoy the time that they're sharing on the mats, like you are not going to be proficient at what you do because people aren't going to want to share that time with you. Yeah. But like the little, like busting people's balls and interjecting humor, like I try and do that. And sometimes it falls flat. And then I'll just say like, oh, fucking tough crowd tonight, huh? You know? But it's the manner in which you present the jiu-jitsu is just as important, if not more important, than the actual jiu-jitsu.
I mean, as far as putting on a show, like that part, I'll say when I'm actually coaching the adults.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I'm putting on a show because everybody kind of knows what we're doing here. And then as a brown belt, there's going to be other brown belts on the floor. So I learned to not take myself too seriously, but make sure that the technique that I'm teaching is like serious enough for everybody to attain, but then also throw a lot of jokes in there. And like that's the show now that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get everybody into the groove and, you know, because man, we all had a hard day. We're just coming to, you know, offload some of the stuff that's been weighing on us today, whether it be at the office or whatever the hell you did. Like you didn't come to jiu-jitsu to fucking put on a bitch face and, you know, just kill time. Like you want it to be a place to where you release.
Or have a coach that's fucking Mr. Grumpy Pants.
Yeah.
You know, like, and those people exist that are like angry while they're teaching.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, what the fuck, dude? And I mean, I've had some lessons with guys that are like multiple time world champions. Like their jiu-jitsu is better than almost anybody you know. And it's like they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, because a lot of those guys at that level are, it's kind of crazy how like the best guys in jiu-jitsu are still struggling to make it and sleeping on their buddies' couches and shit like that, you know? And they'll like cover classes for $45 a night or whatever. And you can tell like I am a fucking high level athlete and I don't really want to be here, but I need that $45.
It's crazy because they can open up their own shit.
Yeah, but
At
bro,
such a high level, you know?
you would think, but I say it all the time on the show. It's like when I used to have imposter syndrome pretty bad, it's right when I moved up here because I was being coached by Boucher and Joao on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
And now I'm the coach and all the eyes are on me. And it used to feel like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you're not 1/25th of the jiu-jitsu athlete that those guys are. And now you have a room full of people looking at you. And it felt kind of weird for a while, but I finally landed on, and it took a while, that it's like, dude, I'm not trying to compare my jiu-jitsu to their jiu-jitsu. I'm trying to build culture and give people an experience. And just like we said a couple minutes ago, you show up after work and you're here to have a good time. And if I can give people the good time, and don't misconstrue that with McDojo Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, we still have fucking great jiu-jitsu. You have to. That has to be the foundation. But you don't have to be a John Danaher level jiu-jitsu to be able to bring your community fucking a great team and camaraderie and just the environment that we're trying to build, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy because you're talking about imposter syndrome. I was just going to segue to that, but you brought it up, and which I'll take another angle at that. So pretty much, I think for my life, right before I came here, I was doing jiu-jitsu and doing all, cool stuff, but not as cool as the stuff that I'm doing nowadays. And then, but I never wanted to be in the forefront because of that imposter syndrome. Then I came out here, started, learning under you, and then you spoke about that. You told me, we were sitting on the mat, you told me like, yeah, man, sometimes I feel like I have imposter syndrome. So I looked it up and I was like, wait, that's what that is? Like when you feel like you're imposing on other people's territory and you're not good enough to do that.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to the show more. I started listening to Andy Frisella. It's like, no, it's like maybe I was kind of stuck in that mindset where, the government was already starting to fucking groom me. And I was like,
yeah, they're beating you down.
Yeah, I fucking stepped out just in time and stepped over here.
Well, and this is what I think it's important to discern the difference between imposter syndrome and then just being someone that thinks you're God's gift, right? Because if you step into a new role, and I say this with jiu-jitsu very often, but really anything, like when I got my E5 in the Ranger Regiment, and my platoon leader called me in his office and pinned me E5 against my will. I didn't put in for it. I didn't want it, but he did it in Afghanistan. He goes, hey, there's a loophole. I can do combat promotions. And it doesn't matter if you want it or not. So you're Sergeant Anderson now and you're taking Alpha 3-1. And it's like, fuck. Same feeling. Like, dude, the sergeants that I grew up under, I always looked at them like they were gods. And now I'm that guy. And I got a bunch of privates looking at me. It was scary. And I fucking buried my nose in 7-8, the infantryman's manual and the Ranger handbook, and was like, you can't just be what we call a tab spec 4, where you just get to kind of coast, Yeah. You're responsible for more now. So if you get promoted in life or in jiu-jitsu or in the military and you don't have a little bit of like, am I good enough? I think that might be a problem too. Because having those feelings, at least for me, is what motivated me to be like, you've got to tighten up your shot group and you got to make sure that you're doing the best that you can, because these people fucking deserve that from you, And that's why I like promoting people. I shouldn't say I like promoting people early, because everybody's journey is different. Like there's some people I wait to promote because like, you better fucking show me that you want this. Yeah. Like if I get kind of like, if I see them kind of slacking, or, the type of people that take more rounds off than they engage in, or that choose easy rounds, it's like, you better show me you want purple, Yeah. But then the other side, the people that are motivated and hungry and I see it in them, it's like, this is going to make them step the fuck up, dude.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's like,
a difference. Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And that's not, I'm not saying one is better than the other. Everybody has like kind of their path and how they walk the journey of jiu-jitsu. But I know like you and Tyler both, when you got brown belts, were kind of like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And neither one of you said you weren't ready for this, because you know that that's not an insult to your jiu-jitsu. That's an insult to your professor. You're saying you don't know what the fuck a brown belt is.
Yeah.
But both of you were kind of like, fuck, man.
Yeah, no, and I told you, I think it was when we went to Utah. It's like what I learned from getting that was not that my jiu-jitsu was good. It was that I need to fill that up now with some good jiu-jitsu, build myself up better. Because now I started wanting to be a teacher. It's like, okay, so that's what leveled me up. That brown belt leveled me up. I took it as
I knew it would, bro.
Yeah.
I knew it would. Because like you're not the type of person to, it's like a sink or swim moment, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, am I going to represent this brown belt? Well, you're damn right I am.
Yeah.
So how do I do that?
Because I'm not only representing the belt, I'm also representing the academy.
Yeah.
And then when I look up the academy now, it's like, yes, my professor is Greg Anderson, but do you see who his professor is?
Yeah.
And who he's rode with. Like you got Joao Assis, you got Buchecha. It's like that's my lineage, bro. Like I'm not gonna be a bitch.
Yeah, you can't be, bro.
Like you said, it's like a guideline, right? It makes you think now. Now I'm thinking of how I'm gonna better myself every time as a student, as a fucking coach, and that's gonna progress me to become whoever I become after I get to the next level.
Yeah.
But that's all there. Like that's like what people think of in terms of like God or like the Bible, right? That's their guidelines, but they don't really fucking follow that.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is real life. Like there's people that watch you and they fucking see your steps and they know who you are. And if you fucking stumble, they witness that.
Yeah.
So you're always on your fucking A game. That's why I'm always here waiting for the kids. The
Always.
kids are seldom going to be waiting for me. Fuck no.
Yeah.
And I dress up before I step on the mat. I don't dress up in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's bogus. Like nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
God, there's so much I want to say off of that. One thing really quickly is I'm watching a series on Gaia. Do you know what that app is? Gaia is like, it's like almost like a self-help channel. And I don't say that pejoratively. I say it
that's the first word of the day.
Yeah, there you go. But it's like spiritual growth, enlightenment, yoga, meditation. Like that's kind of the theme of that app. And there's a series that I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in called Rewired. And what it is it's talking about how the human brain there's different places that the human brain can operate. If it's in fight or flight and it's in stress, or if it's in peace and harmony and all these different places. And what they find is in today's society, human beings are operating inside of fight or flight 70% of the time. While simultaneously, your body is kicking up all of these hormones and these physiological responses to fight or flight, like dilation of your blood vessels, increased heart rate, adrenaline, the hormones are pumping through your vein for fight or flight. Because since the beginning of time, fight or flight is to run from a fucking saber-toothed cat or bash a guy's head in with a brick, right? Yeah. And now we feel that sitting in our cars and our body has no outlet. And it just feels that fight or flight. And now your body is actually out of synchronization with your emotions. And it's fucking us up, dude. And it's a fascinating series. I recommend everybody checks it out. But the reason I bring it up is like every 10 minutes, I'm like, that person needs jujitsu.
Yeah.
That person needs jujitsu. And it actually made me realize, I thought about this last night when I was watching it with Jenny. Dude, I honestly think that is why jujitsu is growing at the rate that it's growing, is because our bodies and our minds are out of synchronicity on a physiological level and a hormonal level. And when you're on the mats, and don't get me wrong, when you're on the mats, you are in fight or flight a lot of times. I'm not saying that it's like this peaceful experience, but your body and your mind are in synchronicity. It's like I'm experiencing something and I'm reacting to it how I'm supposed to react to it. Yeah. Like, and I don't know if females understand this, but if some dude cuts you off and then gives you the finger, because that happened to me not too long ago.
Yeah.
Which is just bizarre, right? Like, dude, that's still happening to me. I don't feel right for an hour and a half. And it's because I want to fucking cave his head in with a brick and I don't get to, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the first to say, I'm not some fucking Buddhist monk that can just find Zen. Like, if you do that to me, I want to hurt you. And that's just who we are as fucking human beings. And as I watched the series, I was like, okay, it's all making sense. So I honestly think we need something like this.
Where is it on?
It's on Gaia.
Gaia.
It's G-I-A. I believe, or maybe GAIA.
Okay.
But it's it's a hard to find app. The app is kind of shitty. So if you're listening and you work there, you know someone there, tell them to fucking streamline user ease. But if you can get through the kind of the nightmare of the app and check that out, it's fascinating.
Going back on what you're talking about, like everybody gets triggered like ASAP now. You know, it doesn't have to be a fucking mountain lion or a tiger.
No, it can be sitting in the office, you know?
And then you touched on jiu-jitsu being like kind of its growth right now. You think people get told that, or they come to jiu-jitsu and then they feel that they self-diagnose themselves? Like,
I don't think most people have a cognizant understanding of what jiu-jitsu is doing for them. I mean, it took me 20 years to kind of draw some of these conclusions. I think most people are just, their day-to-day life is they wake up and like immediately you got to get the kids to school, and then I'm in my car and I'm commuting, and then my boss is a dick, and then my wife is bitching at me, and then I got to pay this bill, and then at 6 o'clock I step on the mats and oh fuck, oh dude, it's just like I'm free right now. And that freedom comes from, like I was saying, like your body and your mind finding like homeostasis. And I mean, Anthony, dude, I bring up Anthony on the show all the time.
yeah.
But the reason I bring him up is because he's such a perfect example of it. It took him like fucking 10 minutes before he's like, I'm doing this the rest of my fucking life, dude. Like,
And that's after listening to your podcast for, I don't know, wow. And then he met you at the range, right?
he met me at Glover's.
Yeah.
At Glover's, yeah, when Fieldcraft came out here. And then he's like, Glover said, if you're not training with Greg, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And then him and Oliver here the next day, you know?
Savages.
But he noticed it immediately.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, something was missing and this was it, right? And sometimes people have that profound like moment where it's like, oh, my life needs this in it.
Okay.
Whereas I think other people, it's a slower burn. But most people draw that same conclusion, you know?
And he's consistent, bro. Consistent.
yeah.
And he rolls hard, not like dick hard, like just for himself, like hard.
Well, I like that you said not like dick hard. Because let me unpack that a little bit. Because no, it's the truth, bro.
Yeah.
And we can laugh at the verbiage you chose, but I can turn the dial up to 10 and like be beating the brakes off of guys without doing things to them that potentially come with injury.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get injured, right? Like that's just the nature of what we do. But I talked to the team about it the other day. Like I don't want to see people twisting each other's spines in here. I don't want to see that.
No twisters.
No twisters, no neck cranks. Like, dude, I'm your teammate. Why am I cranking your fucking neck?
Yeah.
But also, it's not because we're weak and it's not because I'm trying to protect people. It's the opposite of that. It's if you're behind someone and you need to start twisting their head, it's because you don't have the right technique. And then also, it's likely not going to serve you in a real world encounter. If I get behind someone, I want to put him to sleep. I don't want to start twisting his fucking head and seeing how much of a dick I can be, you know? And, like there's a conversation that I'm going to be having with someone on Tuesday about this because it's like, we can train hard without being dicks to each other. And if you can't find that balance, man, this gym's probably not for you. And I think when some people hear that, they may misconstrue that to like, we're nerfing the edges or we're being weak. And it's actually the opposite, dude. Yeah. You know? I don't know. I struggle to understand how men can want to like put a forearm across a woman's trachea.
From the guard.
Yeah, just shit like that, you know? It's like, fuck, man. We're here to build each other up and train and become better. And that's also like a white beltism. Some guys you got
kid stuff.
Some guys you got to train that out of people. Yeah. You know? And so when I say that to people, it's not that I'm necessarily mad at them or think that they're a problem. Now, if we address it 5 times, now you are a problem. Yeah. But if some people just don't understand the difference between being frantic and being in control. And that's the difference. Yeah. You know, and frantic behavior doesn't serve you.
And a lot of times too, like it goes back to what we always tell the kids. Like I don't think we should be telling adults that, but it happens, you know, like they're trying so hard not to lose.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like same thing if you're a tournament. If you want to do tournaments and compete, it's like do stuff in here. Don't like sit in the guard for 4 minutes. You know, like jump up, stand up, see what happens. You get swept. Maybe you learn how to avoid that foot sweep and get to side control instead of just sitting there and then just muscling your way. And then they're going to get tired of holding their close guard. And then now you're going to pass with 10 seconds to go and get, 3 points?
Yeah, dude.
You know?
And it's like every fight isn't the world championship either.
Or you're on top of Christy and you have your fucking forearm on her neck and she pretty much opens her guard just because she don't want to tap to your stupid ass prison break choke.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we got to learn how to like use each other and be better for each other.
Well, and also like, sure, I can utilize a technique against Christy, who is, I probably have fucking 70 pounds on and I'm stronger than. And congratulations, I squished my elbow into her neck until the guard popped open, right? So what I just did is I built a rep telling myself, if I push my elbow into someone's neck, it can pop their guard open. And then you try that to someone that's equal strength to you, like or stronger, like Joao, they're going to rip your arm out of socket because you're doing a fundamentally incorrect maneuver.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where it's important to understand, like, yeah, I can do this to this person because I'm bigger and I'm stronger, but it's not serving either one of us.
No.
And that's where, like, yeah, you have to be able to back it down and actually use cognition in your role as opposed to just fucking jumping on people like a fucking spider monkey. I'm going to implement a new rule. I think we talked about it a little bit, but I know I'm going to be working with you. And just so listeners know, I run the 10 to 14-year-old youth class, and Will's my right-hand man in that. You're there literally every single practice. But you also are highly involved with the young kids, the 6 to 9-year-olds.
Yep.
And you're there with them daily as well.
Yep.
And our other coach that helps run that young kid program is going out on surgery, and you and I are going to be stepping in and running that portion of the class together for the next, I don't know, month or whatever.
Yep. And
something that I've seen is a lot of kids crying and going to mama. And I know that you don't tolerate that. And I honestly think I'm going to sit down and address the children before class starts and set that expectation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, just so we're clear, if something happens to the point where you have to go run off the mats into mommy's arms, you're telling me that if something was so serious that you had to run off of the mats and go to mommy, I can't then allow you to come back on the mats because I have to understand that for it to be that serious, you're probably injured.
Yeah.
And it's probably not safe for you to come back on the mats.
Yeah.
I think that's going to, and it'll happen a time or two. And then,
it's only going to make it better for them too. Cause if we enable that, we're just taking away it's another step for them to work on their self-sufficiency and how to mitigate their own issues.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of why you put your kids into martial arts or to do stuff like this, is to build confidence and leadership and all those good qualities. Like, you're supposed to disengage from them for that hour and a half that they're not with you.
Yeah. If you were proficient in teaching them the skills that they're supposed to learn in jiu-jitsu, then you wouldn't have them signed up here, right?
Exactly. But you want to teach them something, teach them how to tie their belt.
Well, I say in the older kids, like, if you don't know how to tie your belt in the older kids class, like, I berate people for going to mommy. Like, your mom and dad are not here to tie your fucking belt. You're 12 years old. Knock it off.
It's insane.
But what do you think about the little kids? You think that should be a gym-wide rule?
Yes. Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're 6 years old, you should be able to tie a knot, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not very familiar with the young class. And I watch Jenny tie belts all day, dude.
It's crazy because, like, I don't know if you get it, but when you give me somebody to promote, like, I have a hard time. Like, I have to think about it, like how I'm tying it.
Oh, bro, I can tie a belt. I've tied a million of them.
I watch Mama do it. She's just like,
yeah. No, I'd be down. I'd be down to implement that as a rule. I think certainly if you have any color on your belt.
Automatic.
Do we have any gray belts that mommy or daddy have to tie it for them?
Not in my class. Not in my class. Not
Okay.
in the little kids class. And
Okay.
yeah, you say, what did you say, 6 to 9?
Yeah. Well, you also have 4-year-olds.
I have 4-year-olds.
So, and let me say a caveat on that. We advertise 6 as a starting age.
Mhm.
And if your child is below 6, they come with an understanding that it's a trial period.
Yes.
And not a trial period for them, a trial period for the coaches.
Yeah.
Because some 4-year-olds can jump in, and then some are like, Jenny tells me, like, sometimes kids will just stare at the fan and be like, look at your fan. It's like, no, come over here. Yeah, but fan. It's like, all right, they're not ready for jiu-jitsu.
That's a big ass fan.
That's a yeah, just like completely out of touch with what's going on around them.
No, but I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't, because a lot of the parents ask me, like, when? Oh, but Jenny said 6, and I was like, oh, if that's what Mama said, that's what Mama said. I said, but if you ask me first, you can bring your kid, but understand that I'll let you know if it's all clear, or we're gonna have to come back, another year or 2.
Yeah.
And that's because I don't want them to take away from the rest of the class. It's not fair if I'm gonna try to baby one kid just because
Because they're not emotionally ready. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with crying. If you got one kid that's emotionally can't be composed, the rest of the class has to feel that and deal with that. And it's like I tell the youth class, if you cry during class, like no crying on my mats, first of all. But if you find yourself so emotionally distraught that you start crying, I'm not going to be upset with you as long as you stay in the fight.
Yeah.
Keep fighting. And how many times have we seen kids bawling at competition and still fighting?
Like they go harder, and it's like more technical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like just because your emotions are overwhelming you to the point where you can't contain tears doesn't mean it should incapacitate you. And that's what I tell the kids often. It's like, dude, if you find yourself in a real world scenario that is bringing you so many emotions that you're crying, is curling up in a ball going to be the right answer, or is defending yourself going to be the right answer?
Yeah.
And allowing them to go to mommy is promoting them to curl up in a ball,
Pretty much. And then they're always going to look forward to that. I have that outlet. So if it gets too hard, I'm going to go to my mommy.
And around here, our motto is no one's coming to save you.
No one is
and I don't fucking care if you're a 6-year-old child on a playground. Like, sure, maybe the recess teacher will, but maybe she won't too. Yeah. So now what?
I had an incident once. I was down here coaching both classes. And then when rolling time started, the kid came to me and it's like, oh, I'm going to sit out the rest of the class. I was like, what? It's like, I'm going to sit out the rest of the class. My mom said, if I don't feel good, I can sit down. I was like, yeah, well, 1, this is not your mom's class. 2, you already started with your teammates, so you're going to finish with your teammates.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't want to fight. I said, you don't have to fight. You're going to go to that corner and stand and watch everybody finish.
Yeah.
And say, well, but I don't feel good. I said, I don't care. You already came. If you knew you didn't feel good before you got here, don't come here.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, sorry, coach. It's like, I'm sorry too, man. Go back to that corner.
Yeah.
And
see, bro, that's the hardness that you can get away with. And maybe it's just because you're brown and people don't want to cross you because it would make them feel racist. No, but seriously, like the way that you say that to the kids, you even say, like, I love it when you tell kids, I've heard you say it lots of times. You're like, I can spank you. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Your parents signed a waiver and they gave me authority to spank you. So you want to keep acting up, just know that's in my back pocket.
Yeah.
You can't spank me.
And I'll smack the wall with the belt.
Yeah.
Like, everybody looks up and is like, what's that? I said, I'm practicing. Mama's face is just like, oh,
yeah, but the parents, here's the thing. I mean, you're probably not part of this gym if you're some fucking like just liberal left-wing fucking bleeding heart pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's pretty obvious who we are around here, kind of our standards and the energy that we project. And so most of the parents that I've seen, like when you throw it down with their kids, they like it.
Oh yeah. They even call me out. Like I'll be walking by them on the mats and they're like, "Oh, Coach Will, you're on fire today."
Yeah.
Okay, at least you guys recognize, and thank you guys for bringing your kids.
Yeah.
Because as we see it, not only are we giving jiu-jitsu, but we want to build better people for our communities, you know?
Well,
Like,
bro, and that's the thing that you just nailed it. I wanted to talk about that. Like that is, again, sure, jiu-jitsu's cool and it works and it's a good self-defense mechanism, but our kids are getting something that they're not getting anywhere else, you know? And they're not getting it in public schools anymore. They're not getting it in a lot of different athletics, you know, like in today's world, everybody gets a trophy and it just, they've nerfed the edges of so much that when parents bring their kids somewhere where the edges aren't nerfed, and it's like you'll randomly pick two kids and be like, hey, you guys are fighting each other in front of the whole class and all the parents, everyone else take a seat and make them fight each other while every single person in the gym is circled around and watching.
Yeah.
And like, think about the nerves of that.
Yeah.
Being 7 years old, you know? But what you're doing is you're giving them little bits of reality and teaching them that, like, dude, life, I mean, fuck, dude. Life isn't always gonna feel fucking comfortable.
No.
Lots of discomfort's coming your way.
Yeah.
So why not start fucking giving them little doses of that when they're 6, 7, 8 years old? And you see it, dude. And even the other day, you had two little boys fight. Will, and what was the other kid's name?
Alex?
No, it wasn't Alex. It was Hank's older brother, Will. That one in the green gi. And Colton, was it?
Colton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bro, like, it looked like that could have been a pay-per-view fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like good technique, good aggression, fighting hard the entire time. And then when the submission happened, man, the fucking kid was devastated that he lost.
Yep.
And you could tell, like, man, like I laid it all out on the table and I still lost.
Yeah.
And it bothered him. That's not a sad story.
No. He
That's you know what I'm saying?
They fought for that, man. And that's why I told him, I whispered in his ear, I said, dude, regardless of how you feel, that was badass.
Yeah.
You know, I said, he just taught you something. Because he was chill. Will was very chill. He was on the bottom the whole time. And the next thing, you can see him look at the clock.
Yeah.
And then he finally just turned it up, got on top and finished it.
Uh-huh.
And then he did the same thing on Friday night. Just relax. I forgot. Cadence goes, you realize you made him fight 3 times this week?
You're like, whoops.
I just like his style.
Yeah.
I say, I think we wore Elijah out already. So it's it was Will's turn. You know, because not only am I trying to test the kids, I want to showcase to the parents, like, how good jiu-jitsu looks. And that way they can start pumping up their kids.
And they're actually learning something here. Yeah.
And then also make them, every now and then I'll put somebody in there that's like struggling a little bit, just so they can, get their ass handed to them. But that's more of a learning curve. It's like, you're not only struggling because you don't know jiu-jitsu, it's because of how you carry yourself in the gym. Like, you're not being serious. You're just like social hour for you. So I'm going to give it to you now, and then you're going to decide, is this something that you want to continue, or you don't have to smoke. You don't want to smoke.
Yeah. Something I've noticed in my youth class is, there was a period of time when we get like a class clown mentality. And just saying dumb shit and trying to be funny. But I feel like we've bridged that gap, or we've moved past that, because now we have enough kids that are here to learn. Like, dude, Alexander and Maya and Cadence and Mason, like the family with all of their kids here, like all of those kids, man, they're here to learn.
They come hard.
They don't care about your dumb fucking jokes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, those kids that take it serious have been here for so long now that they'll beat the shit out of you too.
And you can see it.
And you can see it, dude. Yeah. And so it's like, it's cool to see from my perspective, like, man, I don't really have to worry about that stuff anymore, because if you show up being a dumbass, the savages in the room aren't impressed with you, and they'll kick your ass, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. The only one thing with that was with Mason, because
he's tough as shit.
He's tough as shit,
and kind of class clowny.
Yeah, but I have to. I'm the one that has to regulate that, because like this past week, I'm looking at Tyler, and Tyler, what's going on? I said, no, this guy over here, I'm gonna go talk to him, and I just told him, like, bro, you cannot be gone for like a month and then come in here and then have comments for every time professor's saying something.
Yeah.
Like you have to be respectful if your teammates that have been showing up, right? Not only are it's good that you're good, but you're more of an asshole now if you're talking shit, and then everybody's like they've been here, they've been on attendance, they've been working hard, and then you're just gonna come in here and just think you and professor are like tight.
Yeah.
Like that's not how shit works around here.
Well, and those are all good lessons for him too.
Yeah, I mean we've encountered a bunch of lessons between me and him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm never mad at him. I'm always proud that he gives me a coachable moment.
Yeah,
He's making me better, and I want him to be better because I know he's greater.
For sure, man.
And that's what I love about coaching.
And the cool thing is, man, is I've had, and I'm not going to say it by name because I don't want to throw this kid under the bus, but the kid that me and Tyler had to pull aside and really berate for his like out of control behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very understood that we mutually respect the shit out of each other now.
Oh yeah.
Like
I was in that room when we were all talking.
Yeah. And that kid looks at me now and I mean, I can see it in his eyes. Like he's proud to share the mats with us.
Yeah.
And man, like sometimes you have to drop the hammer on these kids. And I like what you just said though. It's like, I'm never mad at you. I'm happy that you gave me a coachable moment because that's making me better as a coach too.
Yeah.
And I say it all the time. It's the proudest thing that I've probably ever done in my life is that kids program, man. When we're bowing out and you're seeing 35 sweaty, smiling kids look you in the eye and shake your hand, and then there's a couple of them that give you weird energy.
Yeah. They're like,
yeah, it's like
want to shake or hug.
But by and large, man, like that right there is changing the trajectory of our community.
Yeah.
Adults program's cool.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of those people are probably, don't get me wrong, they can grow as human beings. But a lot of people by the time they're 35 years old are their trajectory may be kind of set. Whereas, man, those kids, we'll never know how much of an impact we really had on them.
Yeah.
Because there's some kids that show up and they're so fucking nervous, they won't even look you in the eye.
Yeah.
And then in 3 months, it's like.
And they don't even know how good they are.
Yeah.
Like how good their body moves. Because I mean, that's where we based a lot of, right? Like we see kids that look strong, but they cannot do like cartwheels, or it's like, how uncoordinated are we now?
Well, bro, and that's why I'm sure you've noticed I've been trying to bring back a little more mobility and movement drills, because some of these fucking kids, again, like they look like normal little kids. They're not fat. Nothing looks off. And then you ask them to like do a deep squat and they fall over.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, what is going on? Or you ask them to do a cartwheel and I can't even describe what happens.
They start on one line and end up 2 lines down, like on the other side, cutting off people. It's like,
or they go to start and they don't have the confidence to commit and they just fall over and like flop and land on their back. And it's
you hear them too, like, ugh.
Yeah, and some of them can't even do I don't call it a somersault because it's not a somersault, it's a forward roll. A jiu-jitsu forward roll is different than a somersault because you protect your neck and your spine. Yeah. And you change the angle in which you roll a little bit. But it's not a hard movement at all. And you can see some kids, it's just like, it's very apparent that they have been probably sitting in front of a screen almost their entire life. Yeah. And that's why I always tell them, like, guys, 5 minutes a night of this stuff will change your life. I bet Alexander's at home doing it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what I mean?
Like deep squatting.
Yeah.
Doing his Cossack squats or whatever you call those. Yeah.
But a lot of the kids probably just think coach is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know you and I both think the same, man. If we could make the kids class an hour and a half, it would be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because they would actually be here for that long. Sometimes I see when they're rolling and they start rolling hard, everybody's sweating and it seems like they could go for another half hour. It's like they're mad that class is ending.
Do you think that would be too much for parents?
For an hour and a half class?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the more they can expose their kids to, the greatness that we're providing, then even better. If it was up to me, I would sell CrossFit out and we'll make that a kids dojo.
Dude,
you heard it here first.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's not the That's not out of the realm of possibility. Not that I would, and don't get me wrong, because Josh will probably, someone will hear this and be like, did you hear what they were saying? I would never kick Josh out because
you know it. They know what I mean.
Yeah, him and I have been friends for a long time, and I like what the CrossFit guys are doing over there for the community as well. But in the event, like, because CrossFit's changed hands several times, right?
Yeah.
I think as opposed to it changing hands again, you're right, dude.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if it's not working for you, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna fucking absorb it, and we're gonna fucking just think about that, bro.
I mean, I ain't gonna say anything, but it could be like Jiu Jitsu and like American Ninja Warrior for the kids, stuff like that.
Yeah, like make one of the whole walls just like fucking climbing stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about it being utter fucking pandemonium in here before kids class?
It is crazy, dude. Like when they're just running around and
screaming and throwing the exercise balls at each other and stuff.
Yeah. Very high pitched.
Oh, bro, I go back and forth on it because so I open the gym at 4. I'm usually here at 4. Certainly here at 4 on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And on the website it says open gym.
Yeah.
Right? Open gym means the gym is open. Open gym doesn't mean I'm your fucking babysitter.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a big enough problem to where I feel like we have to address it and put out emails and talk to parents. But if your kids are going to come here and partake in open gym, which, dude, I actually like. Yeah. Hey, you guys, your parents dropped you off here early. Start stretching. Start shrimping.
Work on your stuff.
Work on your stuff. Some kids will sit on the bench, and I'm like, hey, why are you sitting on the bench, dude? You literally have 45 minutes. You could be training your body. I don't know. It's like wrong answer. But I've had to tell the kids, like, hey, open gym doesn't mean I sit here and listen to you guys scream.
Yeah.
That's not what it means. And so what I've told them is I don't want to hear you guys getting wild until 4:45. If you guys want to have 15 minutes of like fucking tag or dodgeball, that's the fucking one, bro.
I'm sorry I brought it in.
God, fuck, dude. Dodgeball.
I only gave them one rule: do not fucking hit the TV
or the fan. Yeah. You hit my fucking fan, you're toast, dude. 15 minutes of dodgeball, and then I can go back in my office and kind of disengage a little bit. But I'm sitting there like trying to go through my stretching routine. The fucking kids are almost hitting me with the ball. I have to tell them, like, dude, you fucking hit me with that ball.
Yeah.
You're gonna unleash a fucking wrath, dude.
We can address it. Too bad I'm upstairs, so
yeah.
That's why I sent Cadence up there. And then she'll start wrangling them. Like they get wild, but they understand once Cadence or I up there, they kind of calm down a bit.
Yeah. What I want to hear how you got into jiu-jitsu and a little bit of your personal journey, because I know you say you started in 2012 and showed up here as a sandbagging blue belt. So just unpack a little bit. So
initially I started, my brother came back up here from Saipan. And when he went back home, they started fighting back there, cage fighting back in 2007. And he was one of the first ones, along with Frank the Crank. He's one of our guys that represented Saipan and Guam in the UFC. And then he came up here and then he got me into training. So I started training with him. But we were not, it was not jiu-jitsu, it was just MMA. So a lot of grappling, but no belts or anything for jiu-jitsu. And it was under Reese Andy.
Why do I know that name?
He fought for is it the IFL?
Okay.
Yeah, the Seattle Sharks with Maurice Smith.
Got it.
Yeah. So I fought there. I mean, I was training with him. Then eventually I took one fight. I don't know why the fuck I did that, but it's just like one of those experiences where you don't want, but you kind of need.
Bro, I think everybody should take a fight.
Oh yeah.
I only took a few too, man, but it's an experience. It's good for a young man, I think.
Yeah, but I think when you want to take a fight, you should take one that's appropriate size.
Yeah, yours was spur of the moment. Kinda,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah. Yeah, I fought against D'Amico Rogers. At that fight, I was pumped up. My brother's dumbass was telling me, he's like, bro, if you beat him, you're going to fuck his career up. Because he was on his way out to the Ultimate Fighter with Kimbo Slice and all those guys.
Yeah.
And he's like, he needs to win this, because if not, they're going to give him shit for taking a fight against a small competitor and lost. So he's like, you're going to beat his ass. So that was my motivation. I was going there like, fuck yeah, I'm going to fuck this guy up. But yeah, that didn't happen. I lost 48 seconds, TKO. I actually I took him down first, but then he came to, and he had long arms, just a big dude. He was 6'5", 255.
And what did you weigh?
I was at 195.
Why are you taking a fight 60 pounds over?
It was just the way he looked at me.
Okay.
Because he was
some fucking Saipan shit.
It was a joke. You know, my brother said, "Hey, you guys should fight each other." And he looked at me and goes, "What the fuck? I'm going to fight him?" I looked at him and said, "Yeah, fuck yeah, let's fight." And it's like, "You're dumb." I said, "Fucking let's do it."
Okay.
Yeah. So I lost that fight, went to the bar, and he kept looking at me like, "Bro, I'll buy you beer all night because you're a crazy motherfucker, dude." But yeah, from there, we went on. My brother moved on to Foster's and started doing jiu-jitsu there. And then he brought me in. That's where I met Josh Calvo.
Okay.
And then we started training with Josh Calvo.
So your blue belt was from Josh Calvo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a white belt there. I trained for like almost a year and a half. And then from there, I kind of dabbled in and out, not consistent, you know, just kind of living life and then trying to do jiu-jitsu. And it was one of those seasons. And then finally in 17, Calvo he was already in Tacoma for Gracie Baja. And then he brought my brother in to start up a kids program. So my brother wrangled me in to bring Cadence in and then also help him, you know, with the kids program.
Okay.
And then that's how it all started. I got more consistent, you know, like just training every night because now I'm a coach. And then I kind of
What year did you get your blue belt? Do you remember?
So I started in 17. He gave it to me like 18.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he gave it to me in 2018.
So 2012 to 2018 was more of a dabbling / MMA phase.
Yeah. Yep. It was just dabbling in, but I'm not gonna take anything away from that because all the guys that I would dabble with are fucking
Savages, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Well, bro, and like we've talked about Calvo a lot. He's one of the best grapplers in the state.
Yeah.
And as cool as he is, I fucking it always hurts my heart a little bit that he fucking hit me with a fireman throw to armbar in a packed arena with my whole gym there watching. Bro, I tell people all the time, my competition, like I've had a few fucking like, I've had ups and downs like most people have. And I've had a few like very successful tournaments. The Long Beach Open one at Brown Belt, I won that. That was like, and dude, winning an IBJF tournament in California is fucking like, it feels fucking good, man.
Sharks, right? You're swimming with sharks.
Yeah. And then when I won the Seattle Open at Black Belt, every other person in the division flew up from California.
Yeah.
And so it was cool talking to the guys. They're like, bro, you're a fucking monster. Where are you from? I was like, my gym's 10 minutes from here. Like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? You know? And, but I've lost a lot of fights because I'm not a great competitor. I've been hot and cold. I've competed not chasing like a world championship. I've competed because I think it's a good part of the journey to learn about yourself.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's not win or learn like Joe used to. Dude, people say that in electric, you get mad at him. Yeah. He's like, if you're going out there excited to learn, I don't think you're suited for this team. Because he was the world champion at the time at ADCC and shit, right? Like, if you're going to compete, you have to tell yourself, I'm going out there to fucking destroy. And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're kind of giving yourself an out. And you don't want to give yourself an out, you know?
Yeah.
But there are two instances, because I've been beat by plenty of guys, but I haven't been just utterly fucking murked other than by two guys. One was Calvo with that opened up with a fireman throw to an armbar. It's like, fuck, dude.
How long was that? Or how fast was that?
In my mind, within 20 seconds. I don't know if it was that or not.
Yeah.
But it was just an utter dismantling of my jiu-jitsu. And then another kid, dude, I was in the Masters Worlds, but I was in the absolute division.
Yeah.
Because I placed in my division. I got bronze. And Boucher goes, go sign up for absolute now, Greg. And I was like, fuck, dude. I just had a rough day. You know?
Your belt. You cannot deny that.
Well, I don't no, and Boucher looked at me and goes, when we go to tournaments, every single fight we can get is an opportunity. We take it. And I was like, Roger that, Professor. And I went and signed up. And I was 194 at the time. And my first match was against the smallest guy in the division. He was like a featherweight, dude. And I was happy about that. Because I've done the other thing where, like, in the absolute division, I draw a guy that's 300 pounds first. And it's like, fuck. Bro, this fucking little spider monkey wrapped me up in closed guard, and I couldn't get him off of me. And he just inch by inch by inch by inch by inch moved to a fucking closed guard Kimura and took my shoulder in like 30 seconds. And I was like humiliated with Buchecha sitting in the fucking coaching chair. You know? And it like that one haunts me too.
I mean, it's crazy as it sounds. Yes, it haunts you, but also like that's what makes you like badass, because you get those difficult challenges that like really test your soul.
Yeah.
You know, so everything after that is like, fuck, I don't want to revisit that. So you're always on top of your shit.
Yeah.
You know? Even the situation that you get into, is this something that's worth my energy? No.
Bro, I'll tell you, submitting me from closed guard is almost impossible now.
Because of that.
Yeah. Dude, no, that fucking, a dude that I'm twice as strong as could
I'm
just
gonna start building a team to accomplish that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Hey, we're all gonna do close guard Kimura tonight.
But anymore, will I compete again? Probably at some point, but not for me.
Yeah.
I talked to Lappin about this yesterday because Lappin is flying to Miami to compete. And he told me he was probably done competing for a while because at Vita Jiu-Jitsu, he established who he was to his team.
Yeah.
And they all knew who he was. And that was understood. He didn't need to prove himself anymore to the team. He's like, I built a new team now. And now I'm kind of starting at ground zero. And I have to show this team that leaders lead from the front. And that's why he's going back into the competition circuit. And I get that. It makes sense, you know? And so he's flying to Miami and he's competing. And he said he's going to be very active this year because he's the new fieldcraft professor. And that's important, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to show the team from time to time that, like, hey, I don't love competition anymore. I love coaching. I love being a gym owner. But if I tell people competition is good for your jiu-jitsu and then am not willing to do it myself,
yeah,
my words are not congruent with my actions.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's word number 2, congruent.
Yeah, dude. Don't worry. I'll get the last one in sooner or later. And so I think it's an important thing. And I also think competition, you know, I tell people all the time, I don't care if you want to be a competitive athlete. Like, let's go back to Anthony. Perfect example, right?
Yeah.
He's, 36 or 37 or something like that, new to jiu-jitsu. What is he going to get from being a competitor? He's probably not going to ever rise to being like a name in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
But what it does for your own jiu-jitsu is it shows you when someone is giving you 100% resistance, how does your jiu-jitsu, when nerves are high and adrenaline is high and fatigue sets in, where does it stack up now?
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing to teach yourself. And the truth is, I've used jiu-jitsu in real world encounters and just absolutely fucking murked people because they don't know jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to assess your potential rivals in real life as fucking chumps. That's a dangerous thing to do. You want to go into it thinking like, I don't know what this guy knows. And you have to be on your A game.
Yeah.
I think competition helps hone that, you know?
Pretty much, yeah. Because I think a lot of people going in would think of, you think dynamics when you're just thinking about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's like, no, wait, you're going to know until your adrenaline dumps. And that's when you're going to start like, fuck, this is hard shit.
It's hard as fuck, dude.
So that's why I always tell the kids, like, when you go in there, be first. Be first and play your game. Do not play their game. Whatever they're trying to do the opposite.
Moya brand, be first.
Yeah. Be first. No less.
I know. I'm kidding. That's soy roll. I'm not stealing your slogan or your slogan. But no, it's funny too, because a lot of people will be like, all right, well, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to pull guard and then I'm going to do this and then I'm going to sweep and then I'm going to start hunting the cross collar choke. Very, very doubtful it's going to go like that.
And then to speak to that, right? That's why I started the competition program for the kids, is because I also know that there's a need for the adults one. Because, when I first got here and I tried to do that, I heard a lot of like, fuck, I'm not gonna come in here and do no calisthenic bullshit or whatever. That ties into what you just said. When everything is stacking up on you, like, where's your cardio at? Where's your mindset at? Where's your spirit at? Is your soul fucking shook yet? Or like, how are you doing? You know, like when you're gonna tap, what are you thinking about? Like you're thinking about, fuck, my professor's fucking looking at me. You know, like I need to hip escape and get some space right now. If I'm gonna lose, it's not gonna be from this shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's all that hones through that competition class where you get spirit tested. Like you're not gonna go put yourself through that. Like you have to have a coach that puts you through that. Like test you on that night of competition class. Like just make you throw up. You start thinking like, fuck, I love competition. You know, fuck it. This is what I like. You know, it's not about doing sit-ups and jumping jacks. All that is part of trying to weaken you so that when it's time to roll, like how much more technical are you?
Yeah.
You know, because we've done 2,000 sit-ups and 100 push-ups and you're fucking fatigued, right? So now you're just technique. You're not trying to bench press anybody.
Which you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
You know?
The kids won't understand that. They're going to come to a point where they're going to understand it. Maybe Cadence does.
Yeah.
You know, Jackson, you know, and then a kid that we lost, Rocco.
Well, then you
You
got
know, they understand that.
I mean, Jackson, you got kids like Jackson who are salivating
Bro,
to compete.
he you know,
Bro, I've never had that.
yeah.
And that's another aspect of competition that is, man, we're not all created equal.
Yeah.
And some people, can you hone your warrior spirit? Fuck yes, you can. Like, I hate the slogan, you can't teach heart, because that's a lie.
Yeah.
You can absolutely fucking teach heart.
Yeah.
But some kids or some people in general just come with a higher amount of heart out of the gates. And he's one of them, man.
Yeah.
Like, he cannot wait to compete.
He you can tell by the way he competes too. Like his inflection on what he's intending to do. Like whether it's stacking points and I'm gonna submit, or it's like, okay, if you're playing games like that, that's like Gordon Ryan-esque already, bro. You know?
Well, bro, you know, I told him one time, the hat that you're wearing right now, the ENJJ hat. Yeah, I think I told him, I said, if you can get 25 points up on somebody, I'll give you
that was like 32 or something.
And he just said, oh, okay, watch this, you know? And, you know, you can say that that's like maybe showboating or whatever, but dude, if I can take you down and then let you up and then take you down and then let you up and take you down and let you up, that's because my jiu-jitsu is far superior to yours. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to accept that from somebody, then don't be competing against someone that can do that to you.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's coming from a kid that is like diabetic, right? He has
to
watch his sugar levels and stuff.
Yep.
You know, and he pushes himself to the max that his parents have to literally sit there with like monitoring on their phone, like, okay, come in here for, you know, like a sugar breaker or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
That speaks a lot of his heart.
Man, we got a lot of kids that are type 1 diabetic. Not a lot, but I mean, when I was a kid,
We got 4.
that's what I'm saying. I don't remember one child having that. And now it's pretty common.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of strange.
Now, I'm pretty sure back then, if we had, like at our age, we had kids like that, they'd be subjected to staying in the house. Oh, you can't do anything because you're, as versus now where everybody's trying to go against the norm. Like they're sick, but their parents are like, no, we're going to go do hard shit. We're going to overcome this.
Yeah.
It's not going to subject you to a bed or a couch or, you know, and that's what I love to see. I can see these girls, especially.
Yeah.
That thing that they have on their belly and it's just getting
The
like,
glucose
I'm pretty
monitor.
sure that's getting like neon belly on that, but they're not stopping. They're not tapping to that. It's like,
I wanted to get your opinion on, this has been on my mind a lot lately because we have a percentage of the team that's falling in love with no-gi, right? And no-gi's cool. I'm a proponent of no-gi.
yeah.
We have 3 no-gi nights here a week. So obviously the academy offers a lot of no-gi training. But the people that are only drawn to no-gi, I don't feel like that builds a path to being promoted with a jiu-jitsu belt.
Yeah. I don't think so either because they're not in here with everybody else that's in gi, you know, with their, you know, wearing gi and then are getting promoted. They're not, obviously, like, I'm not going to take anything away from the no-gi guys because they're savages themselves.
They're savages. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying that there's any problem with it or there's any less when it comes to your skill set or your capability or what you bring to the table. Yeah. But the belt represents the gi uniform.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you want to have recognition inside of your gi and be acknowledged as a purple belt with a gi on, then you should probably train with a gi on.
And more importantly, so with that said, it's what your teammates could benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
As do you. You know, you could probably be much more greater, you know, and then give more to your teammates that when you're dabbling in gi.
Yeah.
Because you're taking away, you're just it's just them in that group on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
Yeah.
You know, and not everybody in our group wants to go there, but maybe if they start, we can start, you know, intertwining the both. Like people want to dabble more in gi. But as far as it's recognition, I don't think so. You'd be novice, intermediate, or advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not gonna be white, blue, purple. You just sign up as novice, intermediate, or advanced.
Because something I see on the internet often, and I mean, again, this is my academy, so I can implement what I think makes the most sense for jiu-jitsu. But I see guys getting like brown and black belts tied around their waists when they're in shorts and a rash guard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, to me, that's not really the essence of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
There are plenty of 10th planet guys that could fucking destroy me.
Yeah.
I understand that, right? I also understand Jordan Burroughs could fucking destroy me. Does that make him a black belt? It doesn't make him a black belt. It makes him an exceptionally high level grappler, right?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between that.
Yeah.
Because I think the rank of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt needs to come with an understanding of how the gi works.
Automatic.
Yeah, automatic, man. And so it's funny, I think about these things because we do promotions once a year, give or take. Yeah. You know, like if there's outliers or there's people that just like, a perfect example is Justin.
Yeah.
He had just had surgery, and I don't feel like promoting someone when they are in a recovery state. Because I think that kind of takes away from the experience, you know? So once he healed up, 4 months later, I promoted him to blue belt.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the right way to do that. But I'm already thinking of this summer, and it's like, man, there's some guys that are good, that are training a lot. But then you got other guys. You got guys like Skyler, who's at every no-gi, but then he's at every gi too. Yeah. That's a different thing.
That's a different beast right there.
That's what a purple belt looks like to me.
Yep.
You know?
Not only is he good in attendance, which, you know, it shows in his work and his, like how he carries himself, his character. Everything about that is already next belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's next level.
I also think, if you put a good amount of time with the team and you understand all of the fundamentals of jiu-jitsu, you understand top position, you understand bottom, you understand sweeping, you understand passing. Once you're that person, I think you're a blue belt.
Yeah.
But the next 3 ranks are not just about your jiu-jitsu. They are about your commitment to the team, your energy, who you are as a person, what you bring to the mats. Don't get me wrong, like there is an element to that in blue belt as well.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be one of our fucking brown belts, like, dude, that's
like you say it always, right? Like part of your belt is not only what you gain on the mats, but it's also who you are in life.
Yeah.
You know, and they both go hand in hand. I mean, I'm not gonna like jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of metaphors that could go back and forth with jiu-jitsu and life. Like that's part of reason why I love it so much, and kind of like my standards on how I live now and how I coach. It's because of the mats. Like for one, the mats don't fucking lie. They'll tell you who the hell you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mats not your friend. Not gonna tell you what you want to hear. It's gonna exactly make you cry, like inside.
Well, how many times have you heard me say the mats don't show you who you are? They show you who you aren't.
Yeah.
And it's fucking important, man. And Joao said that at my black belt promotion. He goes, my black belts have to be black belts in life.
Yeah.
Then they can become black belts on the mat. And it's funny too, because I was just living life doing what I had to do. And he was taking notice of all of these little things that I never really noticed.
Yeah.
You know? And and then he talked about them in my black belt promotion. He goes, I can't tell you how many times Greg would text me a picture of being out on a fucking drug raid at fucking 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, Greg's badass. He's out fucking busting methamphetamine dealers. And then at 6 p.m., you walk through the door with your gi on. He's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I thought you're out doing fucking cool guy shit. I said, I was, but now I have to be here.
Cooler guy shit right here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? And to me, looking back on that, I was showing him commitment to the team, you know?
Yeah.
And also commitment to the team is more about the team than about you. And there are times when, like, if you're not present, your training partners are taking a hit. And it's like, how bad do you want to be part of this?
Then what's homeboy's name? Chad Wright. That motherfucker badass. He
Yeah.
said that's one of his things that he looks for in a person. Selflessness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would make the team win. When you can consider their life, whoever's next to you, their life over yours, the team is always going to win.
Yeah.
And I love this team because that's what it brought to me. There's a lot of people here that are selfless. And in turn, like, I was always that. But I was kind of, or maybe more of a people pleaser, you know? And then I came here and it's like, no, this is different. Everybody's in here for the community. They're in here to strengthen each other, you know?
You told me on night one that you said, like, this is my fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like, you noticed it. Unpack that.
When I first got here? Like,
Yeah.
So I was coming up here. I was supposed to go to North Sound and Cascade and here. And I chose to come here first because it was the closest, you know, and then we were because we were moving up here, so I'm like trying to try the gym, you know, because now Jiu-Jitsu for some reason has made it back into my life, right? Hence, that's why I say I was fucking sent here, because Jiu-Jitsu opened up my eyes here. But I came here and then I was in the midst of, you know, that was throughout the pandemic. That was the pandemic. So I was always confused because I'm always against whatever I see on the news. And at work, I was working for the city of Auburn. And everybody there, they're not like we are, right? So I didn't want to stand up because I was afraid to. I didn't want to stand up and then I'm the only one standing. You don't want to talk shit. So, but anyways, I came up here because this was the first gym I was going to visit. And then you came out of your little changing area upstairs. And I saw you, I was like, wait, this fucker just got fired, dude, from Port of Seattle. Like, this is the guy. Like, this is Greg Anderson. So I took that and I said, all right, let's see what it's all about. I already knew one thing because Kyle McCutcheon warned me. He goes, you can go visit Greg's. That's badass gym, badass savages. But they're all fucking standing. It's not like what you guys do here where you guys sit down. It's like slow down when you say you guys. It's like you're not talking about, are you generalizing that?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? So I came up here and then my first row was Jack.
Okay.
And I remember dumping Jack. And it was so loud because we were right in the middle. And that's the first thing I remember, like, dude, there's not a lot of space. And I think at that time you're starting to grow. Because there was quite a few people in here. And I dumped him right in the middle and everybody kind of looked at me. I saw Tyler, Andy, Daniel, and Michael J. Brady. Like, kind of just looked at me because I looked up. I was in side control and I looked up and I saw him and I put my head down. It's like, this is my fucking gym. Because I know what's about to happen next. I'm going to get my ass handed to them. And sure enough, they fucking ran me to the ringer. And then you were the last one. You came up to me, where'd you come from? And I told you, like, did Josh Calvo send you up here to kick my ass? And I was like, yeah, this is my house.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's like, this is my house.
So with the Jiu Jitsu Chronicles, I normally don't have a list of questions on the podcast, but because I'm talking to a bunch of different teammates about a very specific thing, I think it's cool to ask a list of the same questions just to hear different teammates' perspectives. So what would you say are currently your current biggest struggles on the mats or inside of jiu-jitsu? Is there anything that's fucking like eating away at you or presenting problems?
Right now at the moment, if there were going to be any problems that I can identify, it would only be like my personal problems, like as far as, you know, needing to improve my jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm always going to work to improve my coaching. You know, I'm always on top of that as far as trying to be there for the kids and getting material for them that they understand, kind of meet them where they're at. Everything would just be for me. It's like what I see. And then I notice like when my teammates need me and then I don't show up because maybe I'm hurting and I don't know how to say that I'm hurt, or I give them a half roll or they'll come up to me and be like, oh, you want a restaurant? And I'm like, well, fuck you, bro. Like, let's go. You know, and then I get my ass handed to me because my shoulder's fucked up, but I'm not going to say that. But yeah, it's all the stuff that's ailing me. It's going to be personal. It's nothing that the team doesn't bring. The team is always there. This place produces a lot of good energy. And if it's going to be an issue. It'll be something that I have within myself.
Are you happy with your growth into your brown belt?
So far, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one, again, the mats are talking to me a lot. My teammates are talking to me a lot, not, just with how they roll with me.
Yeah, not with
And how
words.
I'm learning. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's and I'm really happy with that because it was something that was scary that was handed to me. But as I've gained being here, I've learned how to step on top of situations and command those situations rather than always being like, am I the right person for this situation? No, this place has gave me the power to find myself my maximal potential. And that's why I always seek those, like the hard stuff now. So the brown belt, I'll take it for what it was.
Yeah.
How you gave it to me, that's how I take it, and I intend on just fulfilling that role and representing you and my teammates to the best I can.
Fuck yeah. Something Zach said when he was here, Uki Zach, he goes, talking about rolling and being a good training partner for your teammates. Because I asked him, like, what does he seek in a role? And he goes, I don't seek roles. I just take them.
Yeah.
And bro, that's what a good mentality, especially at blue belt.
Yeah.
You know?
I can tell that because, like, you see his face change when we're doing rotations, and then he'll get somebody, and then I come up right after, and then he kind of gives me that, let's go.
Here we
You
go.
know? Yeah, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know if you're saying something about me or you're saying something about yourself, but this interaction right here, I fully understand and I'm aware of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, we're forging a fucking brotherhood, But I can tell, yeah, when he says I take roles, he don't fucking turn down shit.
Because, dude, it's again, it's one of the things in jiu-jitsu that is, I've heard Joe Rogan talk about a lot. It's like, what is the best role to improve your jiu-jitsu? Is it guys you can smash? Is it guys that smash you? Or is it those back and forths that are like a coin flip of how is the round going to end? And dude, it's a combination of all three.
It's all of it, yeah.
And if you try and pick and choose, inevitably, it's part of our psychology, you're probably going to choose comfort.
Yeah.
Even if you don't realize it.
Yeah.
And then if you start to choose comfort on the mats, you start to fall behind. And we see the guys that are consistently upper belts that will consistently pick white belts. And this isn't even me talking shit about them. Like, everybody, you're a grown-ass man. You pay your money to be here. You're part of the team. You use the 30 minutes of rolling that we do nightly to serve your needs. But from a coach's perspective, especially since I've been hurt and I've been observing a lot more as opposed to being in the trenches with the guys during rolling like I normally am, man, I'm watching the growth rates of people being dramatically different. And a lot of it is because of exactly that, like never shying away from adversity.
Yeah.
And bro, like Oliver's a perfect example of that.
Dude.
I watch Oliver beating the brakes off of a lot of blue belts now.
And that kid is special.
Fuck yeah, he is, dude.
He is. And I love the roles I have with him because I'm not gonna take away anything, but it's like I'm doing the same thing I do to him to everybody else. And for some reason, this kid is like finding his way through all that. And I'm just like, okay, this is what we mean when the mans are talking to you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, better start improving yourself.
And,
Don't take away from him.
And bro, what's gonna make him special is like the more. And I know this sounds fucking strange to some people, but the harder you kick that kid's ass, the happier he is.
Yeah, he's got a good character.
He stands up after just fucking barn burning rounds against the toughest dudes in the academy, and he's filled with pride and he's happy as shit, dude.
Yeah, and he's that smile.
He's smiling, bro.
Yeah, and he hug you. Thanks for the role, man.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, I can speak a lot to that, right? Because when we're Islanders, we always, our comfort zone, or we're always with each other, right? That's why for me, it's a lot tougher being here because, not anymore, because I'm by myself, right? Yeah, I got Kevin, I got Chris, I got other brown people in here, but I'm not going to take away from, they kind of grew up out here. I was born somewhere else and came out here.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to have that part where I view myself with shame. That's why I'm uberly respectful.
What do you mean you view yourself with shame?
Like, so I'll never put my place I'll never place myself with everybody else. Like that's how I've always viewed white people, right? Like they're never gonna struggle, they're never gonna see the things that I saw. Not until I came here is when I realized, like, wow, we got prioritized pain. We got like everybody suffers the way I suffered. You know, I've always felt and been put in a place to where I view you guys as something greater. That's why I've always projected to try and be that. But then I never knew that you guys like hurt and feel the same things that we feel. That's why when I roll with everybody else and I slap and bump, it's like I feel really good. That it's like I feel welcomed. I feel wanted. And now I have a part in here. And it's like, why the fuck have they been telling us all that nonsense?
Man,
You know?
that's a really interesting point that I never even really thought about, bro. Because I mean, you're mentioning the other brown people on the team.
Yeah.
That you, when you initially got here, you kind of felt like a sense of connection to them because of skin color.
No, I was here first.
No. But
yeah.
I'm saying when they like, there's something about having other people that are culturally similar to you.
Yeah, like
that comes with an element of comfort.
Yeah.
And for me, bro, I say this all the time on the show. Like, I literally don't even fucking, and it's easy for me to not be aware of it because I'm a white dude and 95% of the team is white guys.
Yeah.
But I guess I've never thought about it from your perspective.
I don't know if it would be the same if you like went to Brazil with Joel and then it was just all their guys. And then now you're in the mix with all these, you know, like badass people. And then you're rolling and then you kind of see yourself like where you came from and then where you're at. You know, if it's through jiu-jitsu, like to me, it's always been like that, like the way of life. That's why I never kind of excelled until I came here. And then we went into the, you know, I got invited to the tribe and now I'm starting, I could fucking be something here in America.
Yeah.
Like I fucking wasted how many years of my life like fucking trying to punch through different, you know, things and maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm always gonna be less and should I go back home and go back to where I was? Or, you know, and
So is that kind of a cultural like self-limiting belief that is very prevalent within your communities?
Yes, sir. And I think that's why we stay so comfortable with each other, you know.
Yeah.
And yes, there's some of us that dabble through and we make it through because we joined the armed services. You know, you meet other people like savages that pull you out of that hole that you're at. And then you're always gonna get the people that are gonna view you like, hey, come back to the crap pot, bro. Like you better than us. You know, like what the fuck's going on? You know? But I know I digress, but I fucking went on a tangent, but
no, it's a good tangent because it's you know, they talk about, I honestly believe our culture is just inundated with racist beliefs that try and keep us apart. And like you even said, like some of your beliefs before you became part of this academy that is primarily white people is like, oh, white people are kind of up here and we're kind of down here. But in my opinion, in my experience, that's a self-limiting belief that comes from within you.
Yeah.
Like nobody here, none of our teammates that are white, I honestly don't think there's one of them that when you walk through the door, it's like, who's this guy? Who's this guy?
No, I've never, and I know me out of all my people, I will speak for myself. I got a lot of white friends. I've never viewed race like that.
Uh-huh.
I was just, like you said, I probably just placed that limiting belief on myself because I'm in unfamiliar territory and it's something great that I need to be a part of. I want to be a part of, you know, but I have to like go through the reins and see what this is all about. And then I come to this academy, I roll with you, and then you kind of open up my eyes. I get invited to the tribe. My eyes and my heart get opened up even more. To now, it's like, fuck, dude, you're 42 years old and you're fucking making shit happen. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. That's why I really want to start Patriotic Islander because I want to speak to my people, like, especially the younger ones. Like, let's like get out of the fucking crap pot.
Yeah.
Like, there's more that can be done instead of just doing a 9 to 5 and, you know, punching the clock and not progressing.
Because I'll tell you right now, like our brains, the story you tell yourself will inevitably become your reality.
Yeah.
And that's proven through fucking science, man. Like the power of manifestation, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
If you believe you're destined for fucking big things and you're capable of big things, you start to move the needle towards bigger things. If you tell yourself the other side of that and you tell yourself like, these guys are better than me. I'm destined to be a 9 to 5er. I should probably just move home. I'm not good enough. You move the needle towards getting stuck in 9 to 5 and never being good enough. And that goes for fucking everybody, bro.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about the Islander community that's fascinating to me though, and maybe this comes from the foundation of that limited belief is the handful of you guys that have said, hey, I got something to fucking prove. Like, you guys are motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
Like, some of the best grapplers in the state are from your community. And not just like good grapplers, like noticeably head and shoulders above most other grapplers. Calvo's one of them. We already talked about him. Jay
Palacios.
How do you say his last name? Palacios. I've never met him or hung out with him, but I've watched him compete.
Yeah.
Another dude that's a different thing, man. He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But it's not just your standout black belts. There's been a handful of your homies that have rolled through here that are like blue and purple.
Yeah.
And I put my hands on them and it's like, fuck, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah. Like, what is this? You know?
And that's the part that I think we all really loved, right? Is not only are we getting stronger, but to exchange that vibe, the energy.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember I kept leaning into this place harder and harder because as I kept showing up, you kept asking me questions. You know, and then I started hearing your viewpoints about like Islanders, and you told me the story about that Samoan that like you had to fucking break his orbital. You know, and to me it's like that's not a good situation, but like I'll take that as a testament to like how tough fucking Islanders are. Like he fucking tested my professor.
bro,
You know?
I think I've told the story on the show before, but that's when I was a police officer and this dude had stolen a car and it just hit a pregnant lady and then rammed a police car out of the way, like encroaching on potentially a deadly force scenario. Because a dude that's shown an absolute disregard for human life inside of a vehicle, which is a weapon at that point, man, if he he wouldn't stop his car. We had him cornered and he kept trying to like get out of the place that we had him cornered in. Yeah. And I was like, dude, if this guy gets out of here in that car, somebody's going to fucking die, dude. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cops listening saying, that was a tactically unsound decision because, dude, I just fucking ripped the door open and started fighting him while he was in the driver's seat. But I also didn't think that it was necessary to shoot the guy at that point because we had him kind of contained, right? And contrary to popular belief, cops, don't get me wrong, there's like fantasy scenarios where it's like active shooter and I get to show up and just fucking dump that motherfucker. Like there are guys I want to shoot that would be fun and that would fill my fucking heart with fucking joy. But this dude isn't one of them. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I'd shoot him if it needed to happen. But at that point, I was like, this dude just needs to have the fuck beat out of him and taken into custody. And I started fucking punching that dude and punching that dude and punching that dude to the point where it's like, I can't knock this dude out. Yeah. Like, it's not even a big old fucking Samoan head. Like, my little fucking bird wrists don't generate the power to separate him from consciousness. But if I can't separate him from consciousness, what's the next best thing? Just over fucking whelm him, which is what happened. I got him in cuffs. And it's funny because the fire department, they asked me afterwards, they said, how fast was his car going when he wrecked to sustain these injuries? I was like, hey, that ain't from a car wreck, dude. But yeah, dude, that was a fucking, and the crazy thing about that story, dude, I was sitting drinking a coffee and within 2 minutes, I was fighting a dude that weighed 265 pounds as hard as I fucking could. And it's like, I didn't have time to fucking warm up and like get ready, get emotionally composed. It's just, and that's the weird thing about police work. Everything's cool until it's not. And now it's fucking go time.
But then again, right, how much of that whole interaction was influenced by jiu-jitsu?
Bro, 90%, 95% of it, bro.
Like what you brought with you. Your spirit, your soul, everything that you brought was your consciousness. It was.
Well, no, and I'm not even to talk shit on the other cops that were there, but there was a bunch of other cops there with guns drawn, with tasers drawn, giving commands over and over and over and over and over. And it's like, bro, it's go time.
Yeah.
It ain't time for that shit. It's go time. And that gets honed on the mats, dude. The warrior spirit gets honed on the mats, I think more so than anywhere else. Like I could go through they called it the maze when I was a ranger, our shoot house with like, we could change the walls around and like, we would hit this building fucking 30 times in a night. You'd hit it and then you'd go back out and refit and then you'd hit it and then you'd go back out and refit and just fucking all night doing fucking CQB under nods. And then it was like, that stuff's cool for the tactical side of things.
Yeah.
How to fucking move through a building and how to fucking like engage targets and low light environments and all that shit. But it doesn't hone that part of the brain that is like in fight or flight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But dude, this podcast isn't about me. It always goes back to me. This episode's about you.
You know, I think, you know, we go back to like sometimes when I think, especially after jiu-jitsu, a lot of my thoughts now and everything moving forward has kind of been filtered through jiu-jitsu. And that's why everything is like on an upward trajectory. Because I think back like on wanting to have been in the service. Now when I think about it, I wasn't in the right mindset. You know, unlike you guys or guys that have gone before, right? You guys are already in the right mindset. That's why you guys attained what you guys have now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about it now, it's like, no, this spirit that I have now was the spirit that I needed then. Because I would have been a motherfucker. You know, I would have been a fucking great leader. I would have been everything that I wanted to be. But there's timing in everything. That's why I take value in what I have now. That's why I say I was sent here. Because now not only I learned jiu-jitsu, but it's filtered a lot of my shit. And then I'm learning a lot from you and learning a lot from Tobin. You know, I get to meet cool people like Greg Lappin and Mike Glover. You know,
remember the first thing Mike said to you?
Oh, he was happy he saw another brown person.
Yeah, he goes, we instantly have rapport, bro.
I remember shaking his hand. I was like, oh, Anin Hasayo. He's like, oh, you speak Korean too? I was like, no, I just know how to say hi. He's like, I'll take it. But no, it's all the cool. Like now I know how to hone my warrior spirit because one, I'm around warriors, and then two, I'm a lot more calmer and there's not a lot of distractions, and everything is on an upward trajectory. I cleaned myself up. Now I can transfer it to the kids.
Yeah.
A lot of it was based on my past good, you know, what I went through in the past behaviors. It's all influenced me to be something greater for everybody else that I get to be in front of, whether you're youth or adult.
Mm-hmm. And now the gym is also, I mean, we don't have to get into it because I know it's kind of some new endeavors you're going to move into, but opening up some doors professionally too.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, like this, I literally got a text message from a guy that lives here locally that went to high school with Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey man, like I would really like to advertise on your podcast. I really like your podcast. I really like what it stands for. It's like, bro, you own a local business in Lake Stevens. I said, that's cool. You want to advertise on my podcast, but it's probably not going to generate much business in a local setting. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to generate business in a local setting? Join this fucking team.
Yeah.
Meet people and become part of the network. Yeah. And dude, this network has grown exponentially. And like Novak has told me, he's like, you know how many fucking business transactions have transpired from our family being part of your gym? And that's just one person, you know? Everybody on this team can benefit from each other. We say it all the time, dude. Oh, you need an electrician? We got 5 of them. Oh, you need this? We got one. Oh, and now we even have a fucking shaman.
Yeah, we even have our own shaman. And it's crazy. And everybody is there to support one another, even if they're not part of the gym. But if you support it or somebody supports it and they bring it to the forefront, everybody's behind that.
Yeah. Like
that smoothie place, right?
That's right.
You know, it's like everybody, I pass by there and I see our people there.
Yeah.
That's why I love this.
It's fucking cool, man.
That's the community. Or I go around and I see, you know, like other families, like the kids, you know, like they see me in stores, you know, it's like, it's cool. And they're running up like, Coach Will. It's like, oh shit, what's up?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of unpacked what was going well as part of the question of what is not going well, but is there anything else that's going well currently in your jiu-jitsu journey?
For me, the most part, man, everything that's going well right now is I'm in the right place right now with all the kids program and something that is kind of helping me better myself at a personal level. And then also what I could become for them. And then even more better when I can drag my daughter with me and she's willing to be in the fight with me on, you know, coaching kids. And so it's not a lot of things that people can do with their kids. You know, like I can't go play baseball with Cadence at the same level.
Yeah.
But we can do jiu-jitsu at the same level. Or even if it's not the same level, like we're in the same building, we're going through the same hardships, we're going through everything together.
Well, bro, and it's cool because like her age group, same as my daughter, they're at that transition between kids and adults. And how often are her and a couple of her friends join an adult class now?
every so often, very much.
It's becoming more and more of a regular thing.
Yeah.
And pretty soon they're just going to be, a lot of those kids are going to be adult teammates in 3 years when they're all 17 years old.
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking radical, dude.
And then with all the savages that they hang around with, right? Like the no-gi people, like that's a good benefit because the kids want to hang out with them. Now they're only gaining more for their jiu-jitsu and even their spirit. And they bring that back to the other class, their regular class.
Yeah.
Now you're just smashing on the other kids. I mean, that's what you get, right? When you establish a place with savages, and then now they're only raising the kids. We're building an environment that's conducive to their growth. Hey,
Fuck
I stole that word from you.
Yeah. Again, we've touched on this a lot, but that would be your favorite aspect of the academy, you'd say, is probably the team that we've created.
The team that we've created, and yes, the friendship that I've gotten out of this community, just not only on the mats, like even the parents, like how I've been received, and it goes against everything that I believe, that self-limiting stuff that I was talking about.
Yeah,
everything out of everything, that's the greatest thing. Like I know I touched on it; it was bad, but I felt like I needed to bring that out. It's not on my chest, but it's something that could be addressed. So maybe we could start understanding a little bit more of each other, or if there was somebody else from my community that made it up this way, because now that the borders are open, we never know who's going to show up. But no, on a serious note, though, yeah, I've gained a lot. A lot of things have gotten great, and it's the kind of great that doesn't let me settle. It's the kind of great that keeps pushing me forward. Like I have to keep getting greater, to keep this thing going. Because I mean, if I've already told you that I really want to have an academy of my own.
Yeah.
And unlike anything else, this academy, you and my teammates have given me that power to start planning on something. Like at least now I have a vision. I think if I was self-limiting myself a couple of years ago, this is not even a vision. I probably wouldn't even be here, or it's just like a hobby or something that I do just to tell my friends that, oh yeah, I do jiu-jitsu. But now it's like, I don't have to tell my friends because I feel good fucking coming here. I go to work knowing that at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I'm looking at the clock, like, I can't wait to go to jits, coach the kids and then maybe get smashed later.
Yeah.
It's all part of it. There's nothing really bad.
I told you, man, like part of coming up through the ranks, becoming a professor, getting your black belt, and you're fucking light years ahead of me because I was working full time in California. So I was always a teammate. I'd never had leadership in Joao's academy, but I still made it to black belt being a good teammate, right? By the time you get black belt, you could literally fucking open the fucking doors of a new academy and know literally everything you need to do to make it operate at the highest level, And again, like I said before, as long as it's not across the street, bro, I'm going to help you as much as I can, and help you as much as I can in a manner of having your dream become reality, not having my dream expand. Because that's something that I don't, and dude, Joao, like when I opened Electric Jiu-Jitsu, Joao doesn't want part of this. I don't have to pay Joao. Like he is excited that I'm living the jiu-jitsu dream as his black belt. And that is what he wants to see out of it. As opposed to like franchising. All right, well, if you're my black belt and you want to open an academy, you got to give me this percentage and that kind of stuff, dude. Like I'm telling you right now, like I'm not interested in that. Yeah. What I'm interested in is watching you fucking move to, I don't know, fuck Coeur d'Alene or whatever it is that you land on.
Bonners Ferry. Where's that at? Idaho.
Where at in Idaho?
It's like the north tip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, hey, you're going from fucking being intimidated by going into a group of white people here in Lake Stevens into fucking North Idaho, where your whole academy will be straight Aryan Nation.
I'm down with that. I'm pretty sure as soon as we pull up, it'd be like, we don't like kind around here, boy.
I don't know. That sounded like an Alabama draw, not a North Idaho.
Let's go.
But no, bro, like, dude, you open up an academy there with all of the knowledge that you have, not only on how to coach and how to be a professor, but the business side of jiu-jitsu is something that like, that's also a real thing, that if you want to be successful, there's a lot of different things that go into that as well. if it's always just a club and it's you put your focus on hanging out with the homies and training, that's cool. But you also want to build an empire and you want to be able to feed your family with jiu-jitsu. And that's also very, very possible because it's happening here now.
Yeah.
And I would fucking love, I tell you all the time, I would love to see that for you while simultaneously hating the fucking, the hole that your fucking exit will create in this academy. But at the same time, you're not fucking living your life to build my empire. You need to build your life for your empire, you know? And, and that's why I think it's important to like, bro, I want to watch my guys fucking, and there'll be plenty of black belts here. Like Andy will be a perfect example. Andy will be a black belt that just is consistently a good training partner, right?
Yeah.
He'll cover a class here and there if I ask him to, but he has no aspirations of ever building what you want to build, right?
Yeah.
For the guys that do, man, I want you to chase that dream. I think it's important, dude. And also, there's enough jiu-jitsu to go around for everybody.
Yes.
You know, there are some areas that are oversaturated. Like you don't want to go to Huntington Beach and try and start jiu-jitsu.
No.
You got Joao and Fabricio Verdum right across the street, and like fucking every fucking corner is a jiu-jitsu academy. But I tell my guys, like, if you were to seek out a place, sounds like you already have geographically,
something like that or similar to that.
and bro, you'll go there and you'll fucking crush because people won't be able to compete with the culture you're bringing. And that's what's going to separate your academy from literally every other academy, you know? And it's going to happen. It's fucking destiny, dude.
And then also too, like part of it, it's not always, you know, like you talk about franchising, you know, like a lot of, it's like, this is the house, right? So if I leave the house, everything that I do is representative of the house.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
I pay homage to the house and they're going to see it. Whoever comes into my academy is going to see it, it's going to feel it, it's going to know where I came from, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I pay. Is, you know, I'm not going to teach like what professor like to do, but everything that I know was from that house.
Mm-hmm.
It was from professors, from all my teammates,